The day Ethan Ju returned to the country, he brazenly did something right in front of all the guests. He bowed his head and kissed away the wine stain at the corner of Evelyn Liu's lips. Everyone held their breath, waiting to see how a live-in son-in-law like me would lose his mind. But I focused only on the silver knife in my hand, slicing the steak on my plate into perfect little squares. Not even an eyebrow twitched. They laughed at me for being weak, but no one knew I was silently counting down in my heart. Only 3 days left. The lock-on control of the trillion-yuan corporation would officially expire. Then, I would make them understand the vast chasm between clouds and mud. The first stab Ethan Ju dealt me upon his return came right at my 3rd wedding anniversary banquet. He wore a pristine custom white suit. Under the lights, it was blindingly obnoxious. His hand shamelessly rested on my wife's waist. "Evelyn, you've suffered enough these 3 years." His voice wasn't loud, but it silenced the noisy banquet hall in an instant. His provocative gaze swept over like a blade, finally settling into deep affection as he stared at the woman in his arms. Evelyn Liu didn't push him away. The usually decisive chairwoman of the Liu family now had slightly reddened eyes, letting Ethan's fingers thread through her hair. When he leaned down to kiss the corner of her mouth, she was docile like a kitten. The entire hall buzzed with sympathetic looks, mocking glances, and sighs like thousands of needles piercing into me. I still sat calmly at the main table, casually peeling a shrimp, my movements precise and composed, as if the drama unfolding before my eyes was just some cheap romance flick that had nothing to do with me. "Ryan C.A., are you even a man?" Mocking laughter came from the next table, full of contempt. "They're riding all over your head, and you can still swallow it?" I wiped my fingers clean, slowly lifting my head. My gaze cut through the layered crowd, crashing straight into Ethan Ju's invading eyes. Suspended in midair, the corner of his mouth curled into a victor's smirk. His arm around Evelyn deliberately tightened a few notches. I raised my glass in a distant toast, expression indifferent. "Young Master Gu just got back. A bit hot-headed, I get it." With that, I drained the glass. I lowered my head to reply to an email. On my phone screen, complex candlestick charts fluctuated wildly. The countdown timer labeled hunting moment ticked down to 0 second by second. No one knew that my marriage to Evelyn Liu was actually a grand gamble. As long as I didn't initiate divorce and held out through these final 3 days, the 30% core shares in old Mr. Liu's willow would, due to the marriage lasting 3 full years, and the husband being faultless, automatically transfer to my name. Empire and beauty. The adult world only cares about the balance sheet. The banquet ended. Ethan Go boldly slid into the passenger seat of Evelyn Liu's car. The car window slowly lowered. Evelyn Liu's face clearly showed impatience. She said coldly, "Ethan just got back. He has nowhere to stay. Tonight he's staying at our place for 1 night. You take a taxi home yourself." I stood by the roadside, watching the Maybach that used to be mine speed away, leaving a cloud of exhaust right in my face. I wasn't angry. I even smiled. Just 1 night? Tonight would probably be very long. It wasn't until early the next morning that I finally stepped into the house, where shoes were scattered haphazardly, and an unfamiliar gray suit jacket lay. In the air lingered the pungent smell of last night's vomit. In the dining room, Evelyn Liu was eating porridge. Ethan Gu, wearing my silk robe, sat at the head of the table, fingering my favorite item, that limited edition coffee mug of mine. Seeing me enter, Ethan Gu raised an eyebrow dramatically, his tone teasing. "Oh, President CAA is back. So sorry about this. Last night, Evelyn and I chatted so late. I borrowed your robe for a bit. You don't mind, right? He deliberately emphasized, chatted so late it, his eyes full of malicious provocation. Evelyn Liu glanced up at me, her gaze icy as frost, as if the one who abandoned her husband on the roadside last night wasn't her. Ryan Sia, go make some hangover soup for Ethan. His stomach isn't good. Her tone so casual it was laughable, as if ordering a servant. I finished changing shoes, casually tossed my briefcase onto the shelf, grabbed a bottle of ice water from the fridge, tilted my head back and chugged it to suppress the rage boiling inside. There are maids in the house. I'm not here to wait on others. Evelyn Liu frowned tightly. She slammed her spoon down hard. Ryan C.A. What kind of attitude is that? Ethan is a guest and a future partner of the company. Can you be a little more generous? Stop wearing that funeral face all day. It's infuriating to look at. Ethan Gu sat beside her, pretending to mediate. Come on, Evelyn. Don't get mad. Ryan C.A. feeling uncomfortable is only natural. After all, who could be happy seeing their wife with their first love? Right, Ryan? As he spoke, he pulled out his phone and opened a photo. Right in front of my face. But Ryan, you really should take a good look at yourself. See, Evelyn only smiles this happily when she's with me. The photo was a selfie of them in the bedroom last night. The background was our marital bed. Evelyn Liu, leaning into Ethan Gu's arms, face flushed red, wearing nothing but a bath towel. This was no longer implication. It was outright exposure of the word affair, right in my face. Looking at that photo, the last shred of affection I had for this marriage vanished into thin air. I took out my phone, snapped a picture of Ethan Gu's screen. What are you doing? Ethan Gu was stunned. Good material. Taking it as a souvenir. I put my phone away. Looking at Evelyn Liu's pale face, I smiled calmly. If young Master Gu's health isn't great, then nourish yourself more. Parasites like that can cause indigestion if you take in too much. Ryan C.A. Shut your mouth. Evelyn Liu shot up, trembling as she pointed at the door. Get out right now. I turned and walked straight out. Right when a good show was about to start at the company. Arriving at the company, my assistant Lily Lamb immediately greeted me. This girl was a top student from a prestigious school. She'd been with me for 2 years. The sharpest blade I held in the Liu family's business empire. President C.A. She handed me an Americano. Her eyes couldn't hide her extreme worry. This morning the internal company group chat was in chaos. They were saying I'd grown horns and was about to become a grassland, about to be swept out of the house any moment, right? I took the coffee. My tone calm. Lily Lamb bit her lip. Indignant. That Ethan Gu is way too arrogant. He hasn't even officially taken office. And he's already calling himself the chairwoman's boyfriend. Just now in HR he was pointing fingers, demanding to fire the old employees he didn't like. I smiled coldly. He just got back and he's already meddling in HR. Evelyn Liu is dead set on putting this parasite on the throne. Let him hop around. I pushed open my office door. The higher he jumps, the harder he falls. But President CAAA Lily Lamb lowered her voice. I got word. Chairwoman Liu plans to propose at today's shareholders meeting to appoint Ethan Gu as Director of Strategy and even launch the Deep Blue project. I paused for a moment. Deep Blue is a bottomless pit. Evelyn Liu had always hesitated before, and now Ethan Gu wants to push it through right after returning. Looks like he's rushing to siphon company money to fill his overseas bad debts. Too late. I sat down and opened my computer. Lily, are the things I asked you to prepare ready? Lily Lamb straightened her back, a spark of excitement in her eyes. Everything's ready. Just waiting for your order. That pile of evidence. No rush. Looking at the dancing numbers on the screen, my fingertips tapped lightly on the desk, creating a rhythmic sound. Let the bullets fly a little longer. The office door was kicked open. Ethan Gu strutted in, followed by Evelyn Liu with a cold face. Ryan Ca. Clear out. Ethan Gu scanned the room. Like a lion patrolling new territory, Evelyn said. Starting today, this office is mine. You go down to the general affairs room on the lower floor. There's short errand boy there. I leaned back in my chair, silently watching this clueless couple. Chairwoman Liu, is this a company decision or your personal one? Evelyn Liu avoided my gaze. Her tone, Ethan is exceptionally talented and has wide connections on Wall Street. Him, in this position, will bring greater benefits to the company. Ryan Ca, your abilities are average. Don't occupy a spot without doing anything useful. Might as well give it up. Average abilities? In the past 3 years, the Liu Corporation was revived from the dead. Which major decision? Wasn't me staying up all night in the study to finalize? All she did was act as a mobile signature flower vase. What else could she do? For her first love, she didn't hesitate to burn bridges. What if I don't give it up? Ethan Gu sneered, both hands on the desk, looking down at me and lowering his voice. Ryan Ca, don't make me take it without giving face. You're nothing but a dog raised by the Liu family. Evelyn tells you to bite, you bite. Tells you to scram, you scram. With that, he reached out to pat my face, full of humiliation. Smack! A crisp slap echoed through the office. Ethan Gu clutched his face and staggered back, crashing onto the leather sofa. It wasn't him patting my face. It was me swinging a full-force slap. That slap carried 10 parts strength. The corner of Ethan Gu's mouth immediately bled. You dare hit me? He glared and roared. Evelyn Liu was stunned and shocked, rushed to support Ethan Gu, turned and screamed at me furiously. Ryan Ca, are you insane? You dare hit Ethan? Believe me, I can make you leave with nothing right now? I calmly pulled out a tissue to wipe my fingers, my gaze cold as a knife. Evelyn Liu, you'd better understand the current situation. I stepped closer step by step, my presence so overwhelming she instinctively retreated. Want me to leave with nothing? Fine. I pulled a stack of documents from the drawer, slammed them on the desk. But before that, shouldn't you explain to me a little? Why 200 million in working capital under your name? Suddenly transferred last night to Ethan Gu's overseas ghost account? Evelyn Liu's face turned deathly pale, her pupils contracting sharply. How? How do you know? I looked at the two, whose faces had just changed color, slowly spoke. I don't just know this. I also know. Ethan Gu owes a massive high-interest loan overseas. He's waiting to use the Liu Corporation's rescue money to fill the hole. Evelyn Liu, you used my money to keep a gigolo. Did you get my permission? The office air froze solid. Ethan Gu no longer cared about his hurting face, his eyes panicked and evasive. Evelyn Liu, staring at the bank statement stamped red. Ryan Ca, you've been spying on me? She took a deep breath, trying to mask her guilt with anger. I'm the chairwoman of the company. Moving funds is my right. Ethan's company is just temporarily in trouble. This money is like a loan to him for the deep future cooperation between our companies. Cooperation? I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Cooperating with an empty shell drowning in debt. Worse than a shell company? Evelyn Liu, has love made you stupid? Or do you really think I'm an idiot? Enough! Ethan Gu, furious from shame, yanked away from Evelyn Liu, pointed at my face and cursed. Ryan Ca, stop spitting blood here. My Wall Street project is about to go public. This bit of money is just a grain of sand in the desert to me. Evelyn trusts me, that's why she invested. As for you, the kind of parasite who climbs by clinging to women, what do you know about finance? What do you know about investment? He turned to Evelyn Liu, putting on an extremely aggrieved face. Evelyn, if he doesn't trust me, I don't need the money. I'd rather let my company go bankrupt than let you be humiliated by this kind of person because of me. Let's go. This retreat to advance move is well played. The guilt in Evelyn Liu's eyes immediately overwhelmed reason. She gripped Ethan Gu's hand tightly, turned and glared at me furiously. Ryan Sia, you've disappointed me so much. Ethan is fighting for his dreams, while you just stand here nitpicking. The money's already transferred, you can't get it back. And let me tell you, this is just the beginning. She arrogantly raised her head, regaining her usual queenly demeanor. Since things are out in the open like this, I don't need to hide anymore. At next week's shareholders' meeting, I will officially propose to remove your vice president position, transfer all your authority to Ethan. As for our marriage, she pulled a divorce agreement from her pocket, threw it at me. Sign it. For the sake of our past as husband and wife, I'll give you $1 million in compensation. Take the money and get out of the Liu family. Disappear from my sight immediately. The papers scattered on the floor, each black line on white paper glaringly offensive. $1 million to drive away a beggar? Looking at the pile of papers on the ground, I suddenly felt strangely relieved. This woman is hopelessly stupid. She handed me the knife herself. Unauthorized embezzlement of massive public funds is a serious crime. And moreover, she had no idea about old Mr. Liu's will. There was a fatal supplementary clause. If Evelyn Liu committed a grave error during the marriage, causing harm to the company's interests, or unilaterally proposed divorce, all shares and voting rights under her name would unconditionally transfer to her spouse. Ryan Ca, I've endured humiliation for 3 full years, precisely waiting for her to voluntarily make a mistake, voluntarily demand divorce. Now, not only has she erred, but erred completely. I bent down to pick up the agreement. Looking at Evelyn Liu's pre-signed name, the corner of my mouth slowly curled. Good, very good. I looked at the arrogant couple before me, my eyes full of pity. Evelyn Liu, you brought this on yourself. I took out my phone, immediately called legal and economic crime police. On speaker, hello, Attorney Wang, is that you? This is Ryan Co. Please bring old Mr. Liu's will and the special clause to my office immediately. And Captain Li too. I want to report a crime. Someone is suspected of embezzlement and misappropriation of public funds, an extremely large amount, with solid evidence. The suspects are right in front of me. Evelyn Liu and Ethan Gu's faces shifted from red to white, then from white to green. Truly spectacular. Ryan Ca, what nonsense are you spouting? What will? What special clause? Evelyn Liu's voice began to tremble. Finally, she felt fear. I hung up leisurely sat back in the large chairman's chair, fingers interlaced, looking at her with a half smile. What's the rush? The good show has only just begun. Less than 10 minutes later, Attorney Wang walked in carrying a briefcase, accompanied by 2 uniformed notaries. Striding into the office, senior executives of Liu Corporation and shareholders, trailing behind, crowded at the door. Evelyn Liu tried to hold herself together, arms crossed over her chest, trying to intimidate Attorney Wang with her eyes. Attorney Wang, this is company territory. Who allowed you in? And that will clause Ryan Ca mentioned. It's ridiculous. When grandfather passed, I saw the will with my own eyes. Ethan Gu stepped in front of Evelyn Liu, roaring cowardly. A freeloader like Ryan Sia. Where would he get inheritance rights? Security. Throw all these idle people out. Attorney Wang pushed up his glasses. Ignoring Ethan Guiu's arrogant obstruction, went straight to the desk and pulled out a red-stamped confidential file. Miss Liu, Mr. Gao, please watch your words. I am representing the wishes of old Mr. Liu. Attorney Wang looked around, his voice resounding. According to Clause 7, in the supplementary agreement to the will established by old Mr. Liu, if granddaughter Evelyn Liu during the marriage commits a grave error, causing harm to company interests, or unilaterally proposes divorce, she is deemed to automatically forfeit inheritance rights. He opened the file, finger pointing to the bold line at the end. The 30% core shares of Liu Corporation under her name will be unconditionally transferred to her spouse, Ryan Sia, and this clause has been notarized with the highest legal effect. The office fell deathly silent. The whispering shareholders at the door also shut up. Eyes began shifting between me and Evelyn Liu. Evelyn Liu stood stunned. No, this can't be. She rushed to the desk, staring at the file. Grandfather loved me most. How could he give shares to an outsider? This must be fake. You and Ryan Ca colluded to forge it. Miss Liu, please show some self-respect. Attorney Wang leaned aside to avoid her. The two notaries from the office are right here. The file number can be checked anytime. I sat in the chairman's chair, lit a cigarette, through the hazy smoke, looking at Evelyn Liu. The divorce agreement you just signed. So decisively. I flicked the ash lightly. Plus your unauthorized embezzlement of 200 million public funds to pay your lover's debts. You fully meet the 4 words, grave error, plus the 21% shares I originally held. Now I have absolute control with 51% of Liu Corporation. I stood up, hands on the desk, looking down at her. Evelyn Liu, did you hear clearly? From this moment, I am the one with absolute control of Liu Corporation. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Evelyn Liu lunged for the file on the desk to tear it apart. I have to tear it up. As long as this paper is gone, you won't be anything. Hold her. I waved a hand. Security waiting outside rushed in, locked her arms tightly, pinning her to the sofa. Let me go. I'm the chairwoman. How dare you dogs touch me? I'll fire you all. Evelyn Liu's hair disheveled, screaming and struggling. Chairwoman? I laughed coldly, my gaze sweeping the senior executives at the door. Since everyone is here, I'll announce the first personnel decision. Effective immediately, Evelyn Liu is removed from her position as chairwoman of Liu Corporation. All company accounts under her name frozen. For internal audit, the crowd immediately buzzed. Ryan Sia, you greedy white-eyed wolf? A roar rang out. A middle-aged man with a fleshy face pushed through the crowd. It was Evelyn Liu's second uncle, Victor Liu, the biggest troublemaker on the board, followed by several glaring relatives. Uncle, save me. Evelyn Liu cried and struggled. Ryan Cia wants to rob all the Liu family's assets and drive me out? Victor Liu rushed to slam the desk. You Xia bastard! Who do you think you are? Don't think with those scrap papers. You can act mighty in the Liu family. He pointed straight at my face. This is the Liu family's legacy. Liu family. A live-in son-in-law like you, using dirty tricks to deceive grandfather. Now you want to swallow the whole family fortune? In your dreams! He turned to incite the shareholders outside. Everyone look closely. This guy is a real white-eyed wolf. If he can overthrow Evelyn today, tomorrow he'll kick every one of you out. The Liu family will never agree. The relatives chimed in. That's right. Get out of the Liu family. Spit out all the shares. This is fraud. We'll call the police to arrest him. The scene descended into chaos. A spark of hope flickered in Evelyn Liu's eyes. I quietly observed, waiting until the noise died down before setting down my water glass. Lily Lam, yes, President Sia. Lily Lam came forward with her tablet to connect the screen. The projector's screen slowly descended. Victor Liu, who had been aggressive, turned pale the moment he saw the content, his hand frozen mid-slam. It was bank statements, ghost company registrations and fake contracts. Victor Liu abused his position through 3 ghost companies to take kickbacks and falsify records in raw material procurement. Over 3 years, he embezzled a total of 1342 million yuan from the company. I held the laser pointer. The red dot danced over the numbers. Uncle, how should we settle this debt? The room erupted in murmurs. The relatives who'd helped earlier fell silent as mice, afraid the fire would spread to them. You're spitting blood. This is fake. I'll sue you for slander. Victor Liu roared in fear, but his eyes kept glancing at the door, whether it's slander or not. Go explain it to the police. I nodded toward the door. Captain Li, sorry to trouble you. Several economic crime officers stepped in, handcuffs ready. Victor Liu, right? You are suspected of embezzlement. Come with us. No, you can't arrest me. I'm the second in command of the Liu family. Click. The cuffs locked around his wrists. The police dragged Victor Liu out. Evelyn, save Uncle. Quick, call young Master Gu. Tell him to use his Wall Street connections to bail me out. Evelyn Liu collapsed onto the sofa, face ashen, speechless. The remaining relatives and shareholders fell deathly quiet. I sat back in the head chair, sweeping my gaze over the room. Anyone have objections to my decision? No one dared make a sound. Everyone bowed their heads in unison. I looked at Evelyn Liu sprawled on the floor, her hair a mess, makeup smeared. Ryan Xiao, you're too ruthless. Evelyn Liu lifted her head, eyes full of resentment. You think driving out Uncle and taking the shares means you've won? Ethan. Behind him is Wall Street Capital. As long as his funds come in, we can rebuild from scratch. Then I'll make you kneel and beg me. Wall Street Capital? I laughed out loud. Evelyn Liu, turn around and look. Where is your Wall Street old wolf now? Evelyn Liu froze, looking around frantically. The office, empty. Ethan Gu had long disappeared without a trace. Ethan, where are you? Evelyn Liu panicked and dialed. The number you dialed is currently busy. The robotic female voice echoed in the silent office. Stop calling! I leaned back in my chair. The moment the police came in to arrest your uncle, your wonderful first love had already slipped out the emergency exit long ago. Impossible! Ethan wouldn't abandon me. He's gone to get money. He must be gathering funds to save the company. Evelyn Liu screamed hysterically. Lily Lam pushed the door in, looking panicked. President CIA. Trouble. She rushed to me. The finance director just called, saying Ethan Gu is holding the special approval Evelyn signed earlier, and the company seal and his legal seal he secretly took during the chaos. He's at the bank downstairs asking about procedures. No idea what he's planning. My gaze turned icy. He's trying to force a transfer of fee. The company's last 30 million in working capital. That's next month's payroll. And bank loan repayments. What? Evelyn Liu screamed. Her phone dropped and shattered. She collapsed to the floor, muttering in disbelief. He stole the seal to transfer money? I stood up and put on my jacket. Want to take my money and run? Ethan Gu, you thought it was that easy. Lily, notify the bank to freeze accounts. Call security. Follow me downstairs. I strode out, pausing as I passed Evelyn Liu. See clearly now. This is the true love you betrayed everything for. Leaving those words, I rushed out of the office. The hunting moment officially began. On the tablet screen, bank lobby surveillance footage, jumped numbers continuously. Ethan Gu grabbed the teller's collar tightly, spit flying. On what grounds are you freezing it? This is the Liu Corporation seal. I'm the strategy director. Transfer the money now. The trembling teller pressed the alarm. I sipped hot tea. Fingertips, tapping lightly, hung up the bank director's report. President, CIA, security has escorted Evelyn Liu out. Lily Lam pushed the door in, unable to hide her triumph. She's still screaming downstairs, saying she'll sue us for unlawful detention, attracting quite a crowd. I walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. From high up, the people looked tiny, but I could imagine Evelyn Liu's pathetic state right now. The queen of yesterday now doesn't even qualify to enter her own company. No need to mind her. I adjusted my cuffs, told PR to issue a statement. Say, former chairwoman Evelyn Liu, suspected of serious economic crime, has been removed from all positions. Also, send the surveillance clip of Ethan Gu causing trouble to the media. Understood. Lily Lam quickly noted it down. What about Ethan Gu? A cornered dog will jump the wall. I looked at the gloomy sky outside the window. Have someone tail him. If he can't transfer the money, he'll definitely try something else. A person like Ethan Jiwa. Greed is in his blood. Without company money, the high-interest lenders behind him won't sit quietly listening to his sob story. At the foot of Liu Corporation building, cold wind whipped dry leaves into Evelyn Liu's face. Her expensive outfit wrinkled from tugging, one high heel lost. She stepped barefoot on the freezing concrete. Let me in. I am the chairwoman. You blind dogs. The security captain, face cold, swung his rubber baton. Miss Liu, President Tsai's orders, no unauthorized entry. If you keep causing trouble, we'll have to call the police. Ryan Sia. It's Ryan Sia, again. Evelyn Liu trembled with rage, pulled out her phone, shakily dialed the familiar number. Ethan, where are you? Come pick me up. We have to fight back. I still have the 4 seals grandfather left. We still have a chance. Sorry, the number you dialed is busy. Hung up. Called again, only long beeps. Evelyn Liu refused to give up. Opened WeChat to send a voice message. But a red exclamation mark appeared, like a slap across her face. Message failed to send. Blocked by the recipient. Blocked. Evelyn Liu stood frozen, mind blank. The man who swore eternal love last night had blocked her. Impossible. Must be a misunderstanding, she muttered to herself, tears streaming. Ethan must be busy. He's definitely finding a way to save the company. The phone suddenly buzzed. Bank message. Supplementary credit card, ending 8888. Transaction of $2 million at X jewelry store failed. Reason. Account frozen. That was the supplementary card she made for Ethan Gu. Evelyn Liu snapped awake in shock. Ethan Gu wasn't out getting money. He was swiping the card for jewelry. An ominous foreboding enveloped her. Ignoring her aching feet, she rushed out to flag a taxi to the West Suburb Villa. Hurry! To the Liu family villa in West Suburb. Ethan Gu sweating profusely, holding a crowbar, smashing hard at the safe in the bedroom. Damn it. Damn it. That bastard Ryan Sia. That bitch Evelyn Liu. Bank transfer fail. Credit card frozen. Debt collectors calls non-stop. If he doesn't scrape together $50 million tonight, those guys will chop him up for the dogs. Click. The safe door popped open. Ethan Gu's eyes lit up. He dove in. Inside, piled with gold, silver, jewels, Evelyn Liu collected. plus stacks of reserve dollars. All mine. Everything is mine. He ripped open a pillowcase, frantically stuffing diamonds and jade. After looting the jewelry, he pulled open drawers. Searching for property deeds and car keys, his gaze fell on the nightstand, where a photo of him and Evelyn Liu sat. In the photo, Evelyn Liu smiled sweetly. Ethan Gu sneered, grabbed a pen, snatched a note, pressed so hard the paper nearly tore. Finished writing. He slapped the note onto the photo, hoisted the heavy pillowcase and rushed out of the villa. The Maybach that used to be mine, parked in the yard, engine roaring. Ethan Gu floored it, crashing straight through the ornate iron gate, and vanished. Half an hour later, the taxi screeched to a stop at the villa gate. Evelyn Liu staggered into the yard, the main door wide open. Iron lock, D4. Tire marks still crushed into the lawn. Ethan! She pushed the ajar door. Inside the house, chaos. Antique vases shattered across the floor. Wardrobes ransacked. Drawers flung open. A chill shot straight to her brain. She rushed into the bedroom. The safe, empty. That was her last capital. All gone. Stolen. Stolen. Evelyn Liu collapsed to the floor, soul flying away. Her gaze stopped at the nightstand. A yellow sticky note plastered on the photo. Extremely glaring. She tremblingly peeled it off. The handwriting sloppy, but so familiar it broke her heart. Idiot, thanks for the money. I am off to enjoy life abroad. Acting with you these years was disgusting. Signed, Ethan Gu. Ah! A wretched scream tore through the space. Evelyn Liu clutched the note tightly, nails digging into flesh. Scammer! Everyone's a scammer. She hurled the photo to the ground. The frame shattered into pieces. So all the affection was just an act. In Ethan Gu's eyes, she was nothing but an ATM. Ryan Sia, you were right. She crawled on the floor, sobbing hysterically. I was wrong. I was really wrong. Police sirens blared, instantly surrounding the villa. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows in eerie streaks. People inside, listen up. This is the police. You're surrounded. Evelyn Liu dazedly lifted her head. Here to arrest Ethan Gu. The main door was smashed open. SWAT stormed in. Don't move. Hands up. Black gun barrels pointed straight at her. Evelyn Liu was dumbfounded. Officers, you have the wrong person. I'm the victim. I'm Evelyn Liu. The officer stepped forward with the arrest warrant. Evelyn Liu, you are suspected of embezzlement, misappropriation of public funds and money laundering debt. We are now detaining you, according to law. Money laundering? I didn't. It was Ethan Gu. He's the one who took the money and ran. Evelyn Liu shook her head frantically. The officer looked at her coldly. Ethan Gu was intercepted by us on the highway to the airport. For leniency, he confessed on the spot. All fund transfers were under your instructions. He was just the executor. Moreover, those overseas accounts are all in your name. Boom! Evelyn Liu's mouth gaped, unable to utter a word. Ethan Gu not only fled with the money, but wanted to pin all the blame on her. The man she'd loved for 10 years wanted to push her into prison. The cold cuffs clicked shut around her wrists. The once haughty queen of the Liu family, now like a dead dog, dragged out of the villa by 2 female officers. On the top floor of a 5-star hotel in the city center, I stood at the floor-to-ceiling window, gazing at the twinkling night view. Red wine in my glass. Phone buzzing. Captain Lee sent a photo. Evelyn Liu disheveled, makeup smeared, hands cuffed behind her back, escorted to the police car. Eyes empty with despair. This was a humiliation she'd never experienced. I looked at the photo indifferently. No ripple in my heart. No pleasure. No pity. Just calm, as dust settled, fingertips swiped lightly. Delete. Trash like this doesn't deserve memory space. President Siabe Lily Lamb stood behind me, voice slightly trembling. Ethan Gu is barking like a mad dog in the interrogation room, saying you were involved too, saying this is a trap you set. I turned and drained the wine. Let him bark. I adjusted my tie. Baseless slander only adds to his crimes. A cold glint in my eyes. If he wants to see me so badly, I'll grant his wish. Interrogation room at City Police Headquarters. One-way glass separating two worlds. Ethan Gu cuffed to the interrogation chair, face covered in blood, roaring at the recorder. I'm innocent. I was tricked by that bitch Evelyn Liu. She seduced me. She said as long as I helped her launder assets, she'd share the commission. I'm the victim. I want a lawyer. I want someone from the U.S. Embassy. The interrogating officer looked at Ethan Gu like a clown. Stop acting. Your so-called U.S. green card is fake. Your company is a shell. Your degrees are bought. The only way out for you now is to honestly disclose where the embezzled money is hidden. I don't believe it. I want to see Evelyn Liu. I want to confront her. In the adjacent room, Evelyn Liu's eyes vacant, as if aged 10 years. The screams from next door echoed. Each bitch, each seduced, stabbed her heart like knives. The love she thought was real turned out to be a ridiculous farce from start to finish. While the man who truly treated her well, protected her for 3 years, was pushed away by her own hand. Ryan Seo. Her lips moved, leaving belated tears of regret. The interrogation room door opened. The bureau chief escorted me in. Mr. Sae, though not strictly protocol, given you're the biggest victim in this case, and the suspect's mental state is extremely unstable, you might get him to talk. Thanks for the trouble, Captain. I'll just say a few words. The officers left, leaving only the monitor running. I stepped to the one-way glass, looking at the pathetic woman inside. She seemed to sense something, slowly lifted her head to the dark mirror, eyes full of pleading. Too bad I'm no savior. I'm the ferryman seeing her off on her final journey. Captain, I turned and pointed to Evelyn Liu's room. I want to talk to her for a bit. The captain nodded. The iron door opened. The heavy metallic scrape, painfully loud. Evelyn Liu shuddered. The moment she saw me, a spark lit in her ashen eyes. Ryan Sia, you're here. She struggled to stand, but the cuffs held her tight, chains clanking. You're here to save me, right? You're here to drop the charges, right? She wailed, tears and snot covering her face. I know I was wrong. I really know. I shouldn't have trusted that beast Ethan Gu. I shouldn't have treated you that way. As long as you get me out, I'll listen to you completely. I don't want the shares anymore. I don't want the money either. I just want to go home. I want to go home and cook for you. I pulled the opposite chair, sat down slowly. No anger, no sarcasms, even a gentle smile. Evelyn Liu, I think you've misunderstood something. I leaned forward, hands clasped, looking straight into her eyes. I'm not here to save you, but to let you know, Ethan Gu, in the next room, just dumped all the crimes on your head. Her crying stopped abruptly. He provided your entire chat history and all the transfer authorizations you signed. He said you abused your chairwoman power to force him into money laundering doubt. I savored the despair spreading across her face. Moreover, I've submitted evidence to the police, proving that during my tenure, I repeatedly stopped you from embezzling public funds, but you insisted on ignoring me. So this crime is yours to bear. Evelyn Liu stared blankly at me, lips trembling. Ryan Sia. How can you be so cruel? A day as husband and wife means 100 days of grace. Do you really want to drive me to death? I laughed coldly and stood, leaned close to her ear. When you openly let him kiss you, in front of everyone, when you used my money to keep him, when you wanted to sweep me out because of him, did you ever think about marital loyalty? Evelyn Liu, as if struck by lightning, collapsed onto the chair. Oh right, one more good news. I straightened my suit. Your second Uncle Victor Liu, to reduce his sentence, just reported your father for tax evasion from years ago. The Liu family is completely finished. Evelyn Liu screamed wretchedly, frantically banging her head on the table, forehead split and bleeding. She felt no pain. Kill me, Ryan Sia, kill me. Please just kill me. I turned toward the door, not looking back. Kill you? That would be too easy for you. Pushing the door open, light flooded the darkness. Evelyn Liu, spend the rest of your life in this prison, slowly gnawing on your true love. The door slammed shut, completely isolating the screams inside. In the hallway, Ethan Gu still shouting next door. I want to see Ryan Sia. I have intelligence. I know Evelyn Liu's secret account password. I want to make amends. I paused and glanced at the officer beside me. Officer Lee, he says he knows the password. Officer Lee understood. Got it. We'll interrogate him properly. Stepping out of the police station, the night wind slightly chilly. Lily Lamb had parked by the curb, immediately opened the door. President CAA, where to? I sat in the back, wearily closed my eyes. This battle had gone on too long. But this was only the beginning. Liu Corporation was in my hands. But the mess was still huge. And more. The so-called Wall Street capital behind Ethan Gu seemed to really have a background. Just now, outside the interrogation room, I vaguely heard a name. Black Snake. The notorious money laundering syndicate in Southeast Asia. Ethan Gu was just their dog. Now, the dog is dead. Will the master show up to bite? To the company. I opened my eyes. A cold glint flashing. Stay up tonight to review all accounts again. I want Liu Corporation completely clean. The Maybach blended into the night. Have you thought about how you want to die? That question should be for the one lurking in the shadows named Black Snake. If you dare touch my territory, prepare to have your claws chopped off. The fluorescent lights in the interrogation room glaring white, electric hum buzzing. I sat at one end of the iron table, fingers tapping rhythmically. The iron door opened, chains clanking. Evelyn Liu escorted in by two female officers. In just a few short hours, the queen of the Liu family, once a stunning beauty who ruled the business world, had completely vanished. The designer outfit on her body was crumpled, like scrap paper. Her long wavy hair, once meticulously cared for, now tangled like wild weeds, stuck with grime and dirt. The moment she saw me, a spark lit up in her ashen eyes. Ryan Sia. Ryan Sia. She didn't care that her cuffed wrists were red and swollen. She lunged toward the bars, her nails clawing at the metal mesh, making chilling, scraping sounds. I knew you'd come. You're here to drop the charges for me, right? You're here to save me, right? She pressed her face against the cold iron bars, tears and snot streaming down. No trace of her former dignity. I really know I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened to that bastard's sweet lies. Can we go home? As long as you withdraw the complaint, I'll transfer all the shares to you right away. From now on, I'll obey you completely. I silently watched her, waiting, until her voice grew hoarse. Then I took a thick green folder from my briefcase and gently pushed it across the smooth metal table. Look. Evelyn Liu froze, trembling as she flipped to the first page. This is. Her pupils contracted sharply. The 5-year revival plan for Liu Corporation. I leaned back in my chair, my tone calm. This was the fruit of countless sleepless nights over 3 years, all created by me. She always thought the profits and dividends were thanks to her genius business instincts and, or perhaps, remote guidance from Ethan Gu overseas. I pointed at the file. Turn to page 12. Evelyn Liu flipped mechanically. The new energy logistics chain system. I personally surveyed the ports for a full week straight, finalized on that stormy night 2 years ago. What were you doing that day? You were busy celebrating Ethan's birthday overseas. You didn't even pick up my call. Turn to page 35. The medical equipment acquisition deal. I drank until my stomach bled to secure tea. What were you doing then? Busy picking a welcome home gift for Ethan and swiping it on my supplementary card. Evelyn Liu's hands shook violently, tears blurring the ink on every page. Each line, each precise market forecast felt like a resounding slap across her face. She had always thought she was the queen, and I was just a clinging vine. Now, she finally saw clearly. Remove my backbone, and she was nothing but a puddle of mud. Stop. Please, stop. Evelyn Liu slammed the file shut, covered her face, and sobbed hysterically. I know I wronged you. I really wronged you. Ryan and Sia, for the sake of our 3 years as husband and wife, for the home I once gave you. Please save me. I don't want to go to prison. A home? I savored the word and let out a laugh. The laughter echoed in the silent interrogation room, carrying a bone-chilling cold. Evelyn Liu, do you really think I'm blind? I stood and walked to the bars, looking down at her from above. 3 months ago, the night Ethan Gu returned, you said you had to work overtime at the company. Told me to sleep first. Evelyn Liu suddenly looked up, her face drained of color. That day I bought a cake, wanting to celebrate our 10 years together. I didn't sleep. I sat in the car downstairs, watching you bring Ethan home. I saw the bedroom light turn on, saw shadows on the curtains. My voice was soft, but it hit her heart like a heavy stone. In that moment, Ryan Ca died. The one sitting before you now is just a creditor here to collect the debt. No, we didn't do anything that night. Really, Evelyn Liu explained frantically, clinging to her last straw. We just talked. We really just talked. Talked? I placed a black USB on the table. Ethan Gu, to protect himself, handed this over to the police. I looked at her, eyes full of pity. To prove he was forced into money laundering by you, to prove you bewitched him with your beauty. He submitted all your intimate messages from months back, even videos of you two in hotels, in cars, and right in the office. He pulled them all out as evidence. He said you were the mastermind, the greedy one with endless desires, using money to seduce him. Evelyn Liu froze in place, her mouth gaping, her throat making strange choking sounds, as if someone was strangling her. For Ethan Gu, she betrayed her family, embezzled public funds, willingly pushed herself into prison. In the end, in his eyes, she was just a toy he could sell out anytime, a tool to take the fall. Liar, you're lying, she muttered to herself. Her mental defenses completely collapsed. This is the police's compiled confession transcript. I tossed the papers in front of her. Black ink on white, recording Ethan Gu's most vicious descriptions. It was Evelyn Liu who seduced me. She said her husband was useless, couldn't satisfy her. All that money was forced by her. If I didn't want to, she threatened me. I'm the victim. Officer, I really am the victim. Evelyn Liu stared at those lines, eyes bloodshot. Suddenly, she let out a wretched scream. She went mad, lunged at the papers, tearing them to shreds, then slammed her head against the bars. Ethan Gu, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Two female officers rushed in, pinning her shoulders down. Behave. Don't move. Evelyn Liu was forced flat against the table, her face distorted from the pressure, tears and snot flowing freely. She strained to turn her head toward me. No more pleading in her eyes. Only utter despair and regret. Ryan Sia, I was wrong. I was really wrong. She sobbed brokenly. If I hadn't met him, if we had just lived peacefully, would everything not have turned out like this? I straightened my collar, turned toward the door. There are no ifs in this world. The moment I grasped the doorknob, I paused, but didn't look back. Liu Corporation's stock price hit rock bottom. Creditors are surrounding the company. The liquidation and bankruptcy process starts tomorrow. Evelyn Liu, do you want to rot in prison or live out your days carrying this massive debt? Choose for yourself. This is my last mercy. Her desperate screams echoed behind me. I pushed the door open. The hallway air smelled of disinfectant, but far fresher than inside. Captain Lee was smoking at the door. Seeing me, he offered a cigarette. She confessed, her spirits completely broken. She'll say everything that needs say. I took the cigarette, but didn't light it. Thanks, Captain Lee, just follow procedure. How's the progress? Captain Lee waved it off. Nothing much. But that punk Ethan Gu is stubborn as hell. He insists someone else is behind it. We checked his overseas cash flow. It's indeed complicated. Could be linked to some cross-border money laundering groups. Black Snake. Captain Lee's eyes sharpened. You know about it too? Just a guess. I tucked the cigarette behind my ear. A small-time thug like Ethan Gu doesn't have that kind of capability to launder hundreds of millions so smoothly. There's definitely a big fish behind him. We'll investigate thoroughly. Captain Lee patted my shoulder. Watch your back. These desperate types will do anything when cornered. Don't worry. In Jiang City, they won't turn the tables. See you, Captain Lee. Stepping out of the station. The sky was pitch dark. Black clouds covering everything. A heavy rain about to pour. Lily Lamb had parked at the foot of the steps. She immediately opened the back door when she saw me. President CAA, back to the company. How's the situation? I got in the car, rubbing my temples. Very bad. Lily Lamb's voice full of worry. News of Evelyn Liu's arrest just spread. Liu Corporation's stock is plummeting non-stop. It hit the floor in less than 10 minutes after opening. The Securities Commission has sent a query letter. The exchange issued a risk warning. Facing mandatory delisting risk. The car sped onto the main road. Raindrops began pounding the windows. Lily Lamb glanced at me in the rearview mirror, seeming to hesitate. Go ahead. The company's creditors, including reps from several banks, and also people from underground lending out, they're all surrounding the building now. They say if they don't meet the responsible person today, they'll smash the company to settle the debt. Black market loans? The mess Ethan Gu left is bigger than I thought. To the company, I opened my eyes. Completely alert. If they want to meet the person in charge, let them meet. Half an hour later, the Maybach stopped at the foot of Liu Corporation building. The lobby was chaos, like a madhouse. Dozens of people blocking the entrance, some hanging banners, others yelling through megaphones. Security team. The human wall pushed and scattered. Pay up. Liu Corporation is a scam. Hand over Evelyn Liu now. No money today. We'll burn this building down. A bald, tattooed thug was stomping on the marble reception desk, waving a steel pipe, shattering the expensive crystal chandelier. Glass shards flying everywhere. The frightened receptionist huddled under the desk screaming, "Stop!" I pushed the door open and stepped out, popped open a black umbrella and walked into the rain. My voice not loud but full of authority. The bald thug froze, turned his fleshy face toward me. Who the hell are you? Did the Liu family all die? Sending a pretty boy to die here? I'm Ryan Sia. I folded the umbrella and handed it to Lily Lam, then stepped onto the stairs. The largest shareholder of Liu Corporation now, and the one actually running things. The crowd fell silent for a moment, then erupted in even louder uproar. That's him, the live-in son-in-law of the Liu family. Heard all the shares are in his hands now. Get him, pay up, or we'll deal with you. The crowd, eyes bloodshot, surged forward. The security captain, sweating, tried to block them. I raised a hand to signal retreat, facing dozens of murderous stares, my expression unchanged. Calmly adjusted my cuffs. You want money? I scanned the room, my gaze settling on the bald thug. Evelyn Liu embezzled public funds, misappropriated company assets, and is now in criminal custody. Ethan Ga's fraud and money laundering got him locked up too. Company accounts frozen, unable to pay debts, about to enter liquidation and bankruptcy. The bald thug jumped off the desk, waved his steel pipe straight at me. Stop spouting laws at me. I only know money. If you're the boss now, you carry this debt. No 50 million today. You don't leave here in one piece. 50 million? I laughed coldly. That's Ethan Gu's personal high-interest loan, stamped with a fake seal. Debts have owners, grievances have sources. Go find him in prison, or sue him. Bullshit! The bald thug roared. That loan was guaranteed by Evelyn Liu. Now she's locked up. The company owes it. Wife's debt, husband's pay. Simple logic. Let me correct you. I flicked the pipe away with one finger. First, I'm in divorce proceedings with Evelyn Liu. Personal debts don't concern me. Second, once Liu Corporation files for bankruptcy, all assets will be auctioned by the court. You creditors can line up at court to claim. By law, your kind of high-interest loans rank last in priority, which means the corner of my mouth curled in mockery. After settling bank debts, employee wages, and taxes, you probably won't get a single cent. The lobby fell deathly quiet. The bald thug, stunned. The creditors behind him also frozen. They were used to threatening with violence. Never seen someone face violence so calmly and lecture them on law. You dare mock me? The bald thug, furious from shame, swung the steel pipe. I'll take you first. A loud crash. Not the pipe hitting flesh, but the bulletproof glass door being smashed open. Fully armed SWAT stormed in, guns controlling the scene. Everyone, hands on head down. Captain Lee stepped out from behind SWAT, holding a radio, looking at the bald thug Black Dragon, smirking. You again gathering to disturb public order, using weapons to destroy property. This time you'll do a few years easy. The steel pipe clattered from his hand, his arrogance crushed. He obediently put hands on head and knelt. Misunderstanding. Captain Lee, all a misunderstanding. We just came for debt. We'll explain at the station. Captain Lee waved. SWAT quickly cuffed and dragged the troublemakers to the vans. The lobby finally quieted. Employees peeked from corners. Still in shock, Lily Lam approached, face pale. President CIA, though we chased this wave off. But the banks are my problem. I looked at the wreckage on the floor, a cold gleam in my eyes. Bankruptcy liquidation is just a method, not the goal. The Liu Corporation sign is rotten, but this building and its business structure still hold great value. I turned toward the elevator. Notify all senior management. Meeting in the conference room in 10 minutes. What we need to do isn't saving Liu Corporation, but using this bankruptcy to purge all the pus Evelyn Liu, left behind. From today, this place no longer bears the Liu name. The elevator doors slowly close, reflecting my cold face. It bears the ECIA name. The elevator ascended, phone buzzing hard. A message from an unknown number. Just one line. But it made my eyes harden. Mr. ZA, impressive moves. But the debt Ethan Gu owes us doesn't disappear just because he's in prison. I'm waiting in your office. Black Snake. The elevator lights flickered. I pressed the stop button. My right hand instinctively touched my waist. The notorious Southeast Asian money laundering syndicate leader had come personally and was sitting right in my office now. Lily, don't come up, I shouted a warning. Under her horrified gaze, I pushed her out hard, quickly hit the close button. The elevator continued upward, numbers jumping. 28, 29, 30. Top floor reached. The ding sounded, doors opened. The chairman's office, usually empty and silent, now reeked of strange cigar smoke. A figure sat with back to me in the head chair, hidden in hazy smoke. President, CA, first meeting. He spun the chair around, revealing a face tattooed with half a grotesque skull. In his hand, a butterfly knife spun dazzlingly. Thought about how you want to die yet? The butterfly knife whirled between his fingers, just inches from my carotid artery. The man known as Black Snake stared at me, eyes like looking at a corpse. I didn't move, didn't even blink. Took a cohiba from the cigar box, struck a match, took a deep drag and blew the smoke straight into his tattooed face. Kill me, and the 50 million yuan Ethan Gu owes you. Good luck collecting. Black Snake's movement froze. The knife pressed against my skin, a bone-chilling cold. You threatening me? It's just business. I pointed at the flashing red light overhead. Just now, I'd triggered the silent alarm. Captain Lee's team must have sealed all elevator exits by now. You have two choices. First, kill me, then get shot full of holes by SWAT. Second, slip out the technical tunnel over there and go find whoever really owes you. Outside the door, urgent footsteps and radio static sounded. Black Snake narrowed his eyes, staring hard at, searching for the tiniest flaw. But he failed. Not bad. He retracted the knife, backing toward the window, flashing a grin with gleaming white teeth. But President CA, this debt isn't settled. Ethan Gu's in prison. But there's still the woman who guaranteed it. Father's debt, son's pay. Husband's debt, wife's settle. Rules everywhere. The window was shoved open. Cold wind rushed in. The shadow dove out into the night. Next second, the office door was smashed open. Captain Lee burst in, gun raised. Where is he? Gone. I flicked ash, pointed at the window. Decent moves. Captain Lee, looks like you have work to do. Captain Lee rushed to the window and looked down. Cursed, holstered his gun, looked at me. Kid, you've got some luck. I spun the head chair around, gazing at the dazzling city lights outside. Luck isn't fortune. It's because I hold capital, money, and power. 1 week later, Liu Corporation officially declared bankruptcy. This commercial collapse, under my manipulation, became a unilateral purge. At the auction site, the core asset package of Liu Corporation, including all intellectual property of the Deep Blue Project, logistics system, and 3 high-tech production lines. Starting bid 80 million yuan. The words barely out. I raised my bid paddle. The room fell, pin drop silent. Assets worth at least 500 million yuan. Sinking in this debt swamp, no one dared take them. I used my newly founded prosperity capital, bought at floor price, completing the takeover of the Liu family's juiciest assets. The auction hammer fell. The Liu family fell completely silent. My business empire expanding on their ruins. Outside the courthouse, noise filled the air. The relatives who once fawned over the Liu family now surrounded Evelyn Liu as she stepped out. Evelyn Liu, give me back my house. Give back my retirement money. Second aunt, hair disheveled, yanked Evelyn Liu's hair without letting go. Just because of your joint guarantee, my villa's been sealed. Car towed too. You planning to leave our whole family on the streets? Beat this jinx to death. Cousins rushed in punching and kicking. The former Liu family, Heiress, now curled on the steps. Her expensive coat torn to shreds. Face full of scratches and spit. She only clutched her head, not daring a word. Not far away, inside the parked Maybach, I coldly watched through tinted glass. President Zaa do we need? Lily Lamb in the passenger seat, a bit reluctant. Drive. I raised the window, cutting off the screams. Everyone pays for their own choices. This is what she deserves. Half a month later, the gavel fell sharply in Jiang City Intermediate People's Court. Defendant, Ethan Gu, guilty of fraud, embezzlement of company assets, money laundering. Combined sentences for multiple crimes, 15 years imprisonment. Deprived of political rights for 3 years. Fined 5 million yuan. Ethan Gu collapsed at the defendant's stand, eyes bulging in terror. He struggled and screamed, I refuse. I'm innocent. It was Evelyn Liu who ordered me. I want to appeal. I want the U.S. ambassador. Judicial police pinned him down and dragged him away. As he passed me, he glared and spat curses. Ryan Sia, you won't end well. I'll wait for you inside. Black Snake won't let you go. I adjusted my tie. Didn't bother glancing at him. Next was Evelyn Liu. She stood at the defendant's position, body thin and withered. Defendant, Evelyn Liu, guilty of embezzlement, considering voluntary confession, and active cooperation in investigation post-crime. Though unable to repay the full amount, good attitude in admitting guilt, 3 years imprisonment, suspended for 4 years. Hearing suspended sentence. A glimmer of hope flashed in Evelyn Liu's eyes, but the next words dragged her back to hell. As for civil compensation, defendant Evelyn Liu, as the company's legal representative and joint guarantor for multiple loans, bears joint liability for repayment for the funds Ethan Gu squandered and the 230 million yuan debt from company operations, effective immediately. All assets under her name frozen. Luxury consumption restricted. 230 million yuan, an astronomical sum no lifetime could repay. After the trial ended, I lit a cigarette at the end of the corridor. Evelyn Liu walked out, no chains on her hands, but bearing a far heavier yoke. Seeing me, she stopped, lips moving for a long time, voice hoarse. Ryan Sia, are you satisfied now? I blew a smoke ring, looking at her through the haze. Not entirely. I flicked ash. Just feels like the world is fairly just. Just, Evelyn Liu laughed bitterly, tears streaming. My family ruined, home gone, carrying this massive debt, scorned and cursed by relatives. Is this the justice you wanted? When you used my money to keep a young man, when you wanted to sweep me out for that useless guy. Did you ever think about justice? I stepped closer, looking down at her. Evelyn Liu, stop pretending to be pitiful. I didn't sign to drop charges and send you to real prison, already giving face to grandfather. As for those debts, I pointed toward the courthouse gate. That's the price you pay for your true love. Pay them slowly. Life is long. With that, I turned and left. Behind me came the sound of her collapsing. I never looked back. 2 months later, In Jiang City's red light district, neon lights blazing. In a foot massage parlor reeking of cheap perfume and foot odor. In the basement changing room, Evelyn Liu wore a too-short uniform dress that didn't fit, carrying a basin of hot herbal water. Number 99. Where the hell are you hiding? The client in 302 has been waiting all day. The manager kicked the door open, pointed and cursed. Slow and lazy. Can't do it? Get out. Plenty waiting outside. Sorry, coming right now. Evelyn Liu bowed her head, carrying the heavy basin, staggered up the stairs. Her hands, once used for piano, now cracked and swollen from cold. Nail beds stained with grime impossible to clean. Room 302 reeked of booze and smoke. Several tattooed men shirtless playing drinking games. This, the new number 99. A fleshy-faced man squinted at her, eyes roaming her chest and thighs. Heard she used to be a pampered heiress. How'd she end up washing feet for us? Evelyn Liu bit her lip, knelt down, placed his foot in the basin. Boss, please. Damn, too hot. The man suddenly kicked her shoulder hard. Basin overturned. Scalding herbal water poured over her thighs, immediately red and swollen. Sorry. Evelyn Liu panicked and crawled to clean. Damn clumsy. Know how to serve people? The man grabbed her hair, forced her face up. Lick it clean, or you won't leave this door today. Oh, isn't this Chairwoman Liu? One guy recognized her. Mocking laughter rang out. Down. Used to look so classy on TV. Didn't expect her foot washing to be so low. Ha. Come here. Chairwoman Liu. Massage our legs. Make us feel good. Tips won't short you. Evelyn Liu trembled all over. Tears welling up. Carrying massive high-interest debt. House vandalized with paint. She had to endure. What? You don't like it? The man slapped her face hard, pretending to be noble. Now you're just a stinky foot-washing maid. Complain and get you fired. Sorry, I'll massage right now. Evelyn Liu swallowed the blood in her mouth, trembling hands grasping his foot. The wall TV suddenly cut to news. Triumphant music drowning the noise. This morning, Prosperity Capital officially listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, opened up 40%. Market cap surpassing 50 billion yuan. All eyes drawn. On screen, golden ribbons fluttering. I in a black suit, standing before a giant bronze gong, hammer in hand. Beside me, Lily Lam in crisp white business attire, smiling at me, her eyes full of admiration. That position once belonged to Evelyn Liu. Reporters thrust mics forward. President CIA, Prosperity Capital in just 2 short months. Completed restructuring and successful listing. A true miracle in Jiang City's business world. Any message for everyone. Me on TV calmly facing the camera. Thanks to those who once looked down on me, and those who betrayed me. Thanks to them I learned one thing. Only what you hold in your own hands is truly your empire. Clatter. The towel in Evelyn Liu's hand fell. She stared blankly at the radiant man on screen. The man who once cooked porridge and held umbrellas for her. Her ex-husband. The gap too vast, crushing her heart. What are you staring at? Think someone like you can reach him? The client kicked her face, forcing her gaze back to the mud. Hurry and massage. Do it right or I'll deal with you. Evelyn Liu pressed her face to the cold tiles. Tears falling like rain. Cheers on TV mixed with curses in the room. In the bathroom of the northern suburb prison in Jiang City, sounds of brutal impacts and suppressed, pained screams echoed. Stop hitting. Please stop. Ethan Gu curled on the slippery floor, hands covering his head. Several burly inmates punching and kicking nonstop. Newbie doesn't know the rules? Scarface stomped hard on Ethan Gu's fingers, grinding them. Heard you were arrogant outside? Fraud. Womanizing. Even pushed your own wife into the pit. I'm wrong, big bro. I'm wrong. Ethan Ghoul, beaten, swollen. No, you're wrong. Scarface squatted and patted his face. Someone asked me to pass a message. For the next 15 years, we'll take good care of you. Especially your friend Black Snake. He said your days here will be worse than death. Hearing Black Snake, Ethan Ghu's pupils shrank. A wet patch spread on his pants. Pick him up. Scarface tossed a soap bar. Pick it up. Ethan Ghu trembled all over, looking at the soap, eyes filled with despair. The bathroom door closed. 3 years later, prosperity capital at its golden peak, I had become the overlord of Jiang City's business world. The Liu family long forgotten in a snowy winter night. The evening banquet ended. The car stopped at the entrance of a high-end club. Lily Lamb draped my coat and held the umbrella. President CA, watch your step. I nodded, my gaze drawn to a figure by the roadside. A ragged beggar huddled under the streetlight, next to a trash can. A cracked bowl with a few coins. Ice forming on his graying hair. The beggar slowly raised his head, face full of wrinkles and cracks, eyes dull. The moment he saw me, a spark flared in his eyes. He lunged, but was kicked away by security onto the snow. Ryan Cia. He prostrated on the ground, extending a shriveled hand like tree bark. Voice hoarse. It's me, Evelyn. It's your Evelyn. Security moved to chase him away. I raised a hand to stop them, stepped forward, looking down from above. 3 years of life's pressure had destroyed her completely. She looked 20 years older. Ryan Cia, give me some money. Please give me some money. Evelyn Liu clutched my pant leg tightly, tears and snot streaming. I'm so hungry, really starving. I still have debts. They'll beat me to death. Looking at her, my heart didn't stir. No hate, no satisfaction. Like looking at a stray dog by the road. I took out my wallet, pulled a large denomination bill. Evelyn Liu's eyes lit up. Reached to grab it. I let go. The bill fell into a filthy puddle. Want it? My voice, indifferent. Pick it up. Evelyn Liu froze for a second. Then, without hesitation, dove into the mud. Snatched the bill, gripped it tight. She looked up, face covered in mud. Gave a fawning smile. Thank you, President Xiao. Thank you for the reward. The Liu family heiress is dead. Only a dog wagging its tail, begging for life. I withdrew my gaze, turned and got in the car. Drive. The Maybach started, leaving the woman kowtowing behind. Inside the car warm. Lily Lamb softly asked, President CIA, really just leave her? I watched the snow outside the window. Some paths, once chosen wrong, can never be turned back. The phone buzzed. An encrypted message. Mr. CIA, the debt from 3 years ago, interest calculated fully. I'm in Jiang City. Black Snake. Looking at the screen. The corner of my mouth curled. 3 years ago I let you escape. This time, don't even think about leaving. Lily, notify security to activate level 1 alert. Screen off. Outside snow still falling white. The hunter in position. The prey should enter the cage now. Abandoned warehouse at Jiang City port. Storm rain pounded the tin roof. Thunderous noise drowning everything. This was the city's blind spot. A dead corner even streetlights didn't reach. I sat on the only leather sofa, fingers holding half a cigar. Before me, a simple folding table. Opposite, the man nicknamed Black Snake, pinned down in a muddy puddle by 4 black raincoated guards. The skull tattoo on his face distorted under boots. Mouth foaming blood. The butterfly knife that once threatened my neck, snapped in two, stabbed into the mud beside him. CIA, Ryan Cia. Black Snake struggled to raise his head. the ferocity in his eyes, now pure fear. You can't touch me. I have. In Southeast Asia, have what? I flicked ash. Tone calm. An army. Or mercenaries? I pressed the remote on the table. The wall projector lit up. Images of a jungle camp in deep Southeast Asia. Flames roaring. Police sirens blaring. Fully armed Interpol agents sweeping the battlefield. Rebel fighters stripped naked. Escorted onto prison trucks. 3 hours ago, Interpol, with local military, raided and destroyed your hideout completely. Seeing Black Snake's ashen face in that instant, the corner of my mouth slightly curled. What do you think I did these 3 years? Every cent Prosperity Capital earned was to weave this net for you. Impossible! No way! Black Snake thrashed wildly, screaming. That was $100 million protection network. How could you? In the face of money's power, violence is the lowest method. I stood and walked to him, looking at the venomous snake with broken spine, the so-called underworld power you prided yourself on. In my eyes, is just publicly listed merchandise. As long as the price is tempting enough, your underlings, your backers, even your closest ones will turn into the knife stabbing your heart. A check fell from my hand, landing on his face. This buys your life outright. But not for me. For the fund supporting victims' families, those whose homes you destroyed. The organization established the fund. The large door pushed open. Captain Lee led SWAT, rushing in. President CA, thanks for your effort. The rest is ours. Captain Lee holstered his gun, nodded to me. Thanks for the trouble, Captain Lee. I straightened my collar, then turned to leave. The evidence chain is in that USB. Enough to put him away for life. Ryan Sia, you'll get yours. You devil. Behind me came Black Snake's desperate curses. My steps didn't pause. Devil? Probably. One who crawled back from hell, if not a devil. How to suppress these demons? Stepping out of the warehouse. The rain had stopped. Air carrying sea salt and damp earth. The black Rolls-Royce Phantom parked quietly by the road, body gleaming coldly. Lily Lamb stood by the door, holding a dry cashmere coat. President CAA, it's over. She draped the coat over me. Motions practiced. 3 years. From a naive assistant to the second most powerful in Prosperity Capital, and my sharpest blade. It's over. I sat in the back, wearily closed my eyes. Back to the old Dew house. Yes, also. Cancel all tomorrow's schedule. I interrupted her. Tomorrow I want to rest. Lily Lamb paused a second, then smiled understandingly in the mirror. Understood, you really should sleep well. The car started, gliding smoothly into the night, cabin temperature steady at 24 degrees, completely blocking the cold outside. Luxury leather seats smooth and comfortable. Cedarwood scent, soothing tense nerves. I leaned back, watching streets recede through the window. 3 years, from a son-in-law swept out, to Mr. IIA holding life and death power in Jiang City today. Ethan Ga's legs broken in prison. Evelyn Liu carrying massive debt, struggling at society's bottom. Black Snake after tonight, just history. Enemies paid their due. But my heart felt no excitement, only strange calm. President CAA, red light ahead, might wait a bit. The driver's voice. The car slowly stopped at a busy intersection. Red light counting down 99 seconds. Outside the window, snow had started falling unnoticed. Jiang City's winter cold piercing to the bone. Wind whipping snowflakes against the glass, melting into winding water trails. I tilted my head to look out. On the median, several figures faintly visible, part-timers handing out flyers. In thin plush costumes or ad jackets, shivering in the cold wind. Whenever a luxury car stopped, they rushed like predators, ignoring scolds or shoves, still shoving papers into window gaps. Dry tap-tap knocks, a handful of cold cracks, pressed against my window. A woman's hand, nails rough and dry, nail beds blackened with dirt, back of hand with unhealed bleeding cuts. I frowned slightly. Driver Lao Chen radioed. Boss, drive her off. No need. Looking at that hand, something made me press the window button. Perhaps because, tonight, all grudges settle. This iron heart suddenly had a touch of unnecessary compassion. The window slowly lowered, cold wind and snow rushed in, dispelling the warmth inside. Sir, please have mercy. Look at this real estate project. Riverview apartment. Beautiful. Down payment only. The woman's voice hoarse and rough. Head bowed low, mechanically handing in a crumpled flyer. Not daring to look up. She wore a blue jacket printed Prosperous Grand Court. Ill-fitting. Inside an old faded sweater. Graying hair disheveled. Strands like weeds hiding half her face. Sunken, deformed features. High cheekbones. Deep, hollow eyes. Sallow skin. Full of purple, cracked, weeping sores. But I recognized her instantly. Even reduced to ashes I'd know. The once lofty chairwoman of Liu Corporation. The Liu family heiress who humiliated me before everyone. My ex-wife who threw the divorce agreement in my face. Evelyn Liu. The air seemed to freeze. Evelyn Liu sensed the terrifying silence. Instinctively looked up. Eyes met. Her dull eyes first confused. Then shock. Then overwhelming shame and fear surged. Plop! The flyer fell onto white snow. Evelyn Liu rigid, throat making choked sounds. But no words came. Completely. She wanted to flee. But legs like lead couldn't lift. The horrific contrast crushed her last shred of pride. Inside the car, I was the business legend with trillion assets. Outside, she was the ragged beggar peddling. A chasm apart. This time, who is cloud, who is mud? Sia. Evelyn Liu's lips trembled. Tears streaming down cracked face, leaving long trails. She clung to the window edge. Nails scraping glass with piercing sounds. Her eyes, too complex. Regret, pain, inferiority, and faint desperate hope, like a drowning person grabbing the last straw. Husband. She used all her strength to utter those words. Voice, faint, vanishing in the wind. But in the quiet cabin, like thunder, Lily Lamb, startled, turned to scold. I raised a hand to stop. I looked at Evelyn Liu, at her twisted face, and the fading spark in her eyes. What was she hoping for? Hoping I'd give her my coat, take her home, or at least curse her a few times. Sadly, my heart now terrifyingly calm. No sarcasm, no pity, not even a ripple. Like looking at an unfamiliar stone by the road. I didn't respond, just silently watched. Gaze indifferent as flowing water. In that moment of eye contact, her last hope shattered by my silence. Crueler than hate. Ignoring her when she was pathetic as a dog. And I had no interest even stepping on her. I pressed the control. The tinted privacy glass slowly rose. Bit by bit, blocking her view. Blocking her whole world. No, don't! Evelyn Liu panicked, frantically pounding the rising glass. Heart-rending screams. Ryan Sia, I know I was wrong. Please, just look at me. It's me, Evelyn. I'm your wife. I'm so cold. I'm really freezing. Take me with you. I'll be your maid. Or your dog. Ryan Sia. The glass sealed shut. Her cries cut off. only the faint shadow outside desperately pounding. Light turned green. I calmly said, "Drive, Lao Chen." Pressed the accelerator. The V12 engine roared low. The Rolls-Royce sped through wind and snow. Momentum threw Evelyn Liu tumbling to the ground. I looked in the rear view. One last glance at the once arrogant woman, now kneeling on filthy snow, hands clutching her face in violent spasms. Snow kept falling white, soon covering her in a pale, snowy grave. The flyer blown away by wind, falling into the drain. President C.A. Lily Lam turned, carefully watching my expression. "Are you okay?" I withdrew my gaze, took a sip of soda, the cool liquid sharpening my mind. "Lily, don't cancel tomorrow's schedule." I looked toward the bright horizon of the city ahead. "Notify leadership. Board meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow. The next 5-year plan for prosperity, capital, starts now." A joyful spark in Lily Lam's eyes. She straightened and replied, "Yes, I'll arrange it immediately." The car returned to quiet. I leaned on the headrest, eyes closed, resting. Outside wind howling cold, inside warm as spring. Some things like this snow, fall and melt, get dirty and leave no trace. The road is still long, and I will never look back.